guys. In our last tutorial, we were able to achieve this nice looking educational background and experience, right? Which is really looking awesome. So what our task here is all about is creating a nice looking portfolio from scratch to finish, websites from scratch to finish with just the help of HTML and CSS alone only. We don't need any other programming language. But notwithstanding, our next tutorial will be after CSS will be jQuery. So we were able to achieve this nice looking website so far, and our goal is to create a website similar to this. We're trying to clone these websites similar to this, and for today we are trying to achieve the pre-footer section, which is basically this this map and the contact form. Lastly, we will achieve the footer itself. Okay, so if we go to our own source code, you will see I already have my HTML file. That's why you can see it displayed here, but we've not typed anything yet, which is absolutely fine. So to achieve this, first thing we need to do is to look at the site we are cloning, and I think they have a map and they have a contact form, right? So we need to also have our own map in our website. To have our own map in our website is a new knowledge you will learn today on how to import Google Map into our website, just like they did for their own. So to do that, it's simple. What you need to do is to go to the next browser, the next window, open up a browser and search for, and just type in this URL, https colon / google.com/maps, the plural maps, MAPS. You hit enter and you will see it's going to take you to Google Map websites, just like this. Alright, so what you need to do next is to navigate to the top left corner of your screen where you can be able to search for your Google Maps. So, and the content you're supposed to search here, you like to search is either your business name, if you have one already, inside of Google Map, or you search of any landmark or any city or any country in general. We just want to get the Google Map. So I will just search for my name because I have my name in Google. And you can see if you're just going to appear similar to this. So what we need to do here is simple. We will just search for where they have the share button, right? Over there you can, yeah, I think I found it. So in 2022, the Google Map has it at the left hand corner of the screen. So you just click share and it's going to pop up. So it gives us two links, which is share a link. Like if you want to share your map link, the way you share your YouTube link or Instagram or whatever. But this time we'll need the map itself. So what you need to do is to click on this embed a map. Right. So over here they have different sizes such as the small, medium, large, and you can as well custom your own map size. So I just need a small screen. Okay, because it's almost similar to this. So I need the small one. Click on copy HTML and go back to your source code and paste it here. Alright. So once you are able to do that, and click save, you will and refresh. You can see now that we have it here, which is beautiful, right? So nice. All right, so you've successfully imported the Google Map from their own websites into your own website, which is beautiful, right? Okay, so let's just begin styling. You head back to your CSS file, and like I taught you guys, you begin from the first one. In this case, we are trying to target the pre-footer. So the first one will be the pre-footer class. So I already just indicated mine just for test purposes, and it's absolutely fine if you just copy along with me. Okay, so first all we need to do is to give it a position of relative so that it's going to be relatively proportional to the given widget. Alright, and next I want to give it is a display of flex, because I want all my content to be flexing around. What I mean, I want them to be demarcated, not flexing around. The next I want to do is give it a widget. So we'll tell our browser that I want this pre-footer to take up 100% view widgets, just like this. So I like giving heights, and I pass my height to 100% height. So I think we also forgot to leave our height at this previous one, which is the more info. Yeah. So I think we should also pass it our height is 100%. Refresh. Okay. Yeah, it has its own 100% view height, as well as this also has its own 100% view height. Yes, this is what I want. All right. Okay, let's also give it the widgets. But I'm still under the more info. Let's see. All right. We go back. We went back to this place to refresh. All right, beautiful. So beautiful. So I like giving each of my content to have their own 100% view widgets and 100% view height. So whenever we navigate to that section, our primary focus will be on that section. So we're not trying to steal any other section. So if we go back here 100%, come to the next one, which is the project 100%, and this 100%. Lastly, we are here. So you can see now we are just focusing mainly on our pre-footer. All right. Unlike, you can see they also gave just to 100% view, here to 100%, 100%, but they didn't give the header 100%, which is still fine. Well, so let's just proceed with no further ado. Since we've started our pre-footer, which is the parent to these children, the next is to style the children. And the first child is this contact info, which is what you just here. That's all. Alright, what is in our contact info? We have our map, and we also have information inside of it. So, alright. So first thing is the map, right? And to style our map, which is an iframe, is easy. We could either do it by our style sheet, or we could just change in this case I just need to change the widgets, because it's looking smaller since I have increased the height and widget, but we still need to position this at the middle. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is simple. Since we pass our heights, we need to give it a justify content to the center and align item center, align content still center. Okay, refresh. Beautiful. Now you could see how neatly arranged it is, placed at the middle. Yes. So the next we need to start is still the iframe and I told you we just want to do an inline styling by changing the widgets. So it's simple. It has a default widget and height because that iframe. So you just change the default widget to the specific margin you want it to be. Alright. So we save now, we go back, we refresh, and you can see, you may not see the difference now, but it took place. Our next is supposed to be the contact info still, but we haven't, we jumped in style there, which is fine. Right. Alright, so I want to give this a position. This time I want to make it inherit. So what I simply did is letting this contact info position inherit the parent footer by just typing the word inherit, the value inherit, or let me say it properly, by passing the property of position to its value to be inherit. Simple. Alright, so the next I want to do is also give it a display of inline of block rather, because and alright, so it's going to okay, so you see where it's heading to from, right, of inline block rather. Okay, let's save and see what we really need to do. Alright, what's next? Let's leave it like that first, and next is the contact info button, right, which is simply this right here. This. Alright, so I should give it a display for flex, let them flex around, as well as a background color or a background. Alright, so let me talk about this background a little more further. There are several ways you could place your background. What is a background? That should be the first question. The background is what you see on the screen, where you advertise your content or you place your content. So all of these contents, they are given a specific background. Either could be a background column, a background image, or a background size, but they all have a background. And here so far, we've only been using background color. There are several background properties, and let's head back to our notes. And to know about that, I think this will help us. Alright, so you could see that there are several properties that comes along with background, such as background image, background position, background repeat, background size, background clip. So there are many things you could do with a background, and you could see a lot that we cannot achieve inside one lecture. But the more you push further, the more you will understand it better. So we've used the background color, and this time let us use something else rather than using background color. So I want to give this bottom a background image rather. So to do that, we just simply write background and slash image dash image, just like the way we do for background color. We do dash color. So and you write dash image. All right. So to pass a background image, we do that using a URL. I already told you what URL means, which simply means a uniform resource locator. Where can I locate my stuff? And looking at this tab 9 artificial intelligence that is guessing my next move, which is beautiful. You could as well download tab 9 extension in your code tab, in your editor. So we could achieve these results. We could locate our background image in two ways, which is using our local locator. We could locate it through an external locator. What I mean by that, and when I'm trying to say an external website. So what I mean by local, I mean our local form, which is where we save our stuff. For example, I save my images in assets. You can see how I save all my images. Right, just to differentiate local and external. External means an external website. All right. So what I would just need to do is to type in the URL and open brackets. Next I need to do is to put in a colon and a quote, a single quote or a double quote. So that's what we need to do. We could do it like this for a double quote. You can see that they both do the same thing, and you can't use single quote and double quote at the same time. It doesn't make sense. So to do that, we put a period slash. This will help us find a double period or a double dot because they're not saved in the same folder or file. So you could see as soon as I did that, it brought up my asset file folder to say sorry, whereby I could navigate around not just my assets file. It brought out every folder inside of my website where you find that the CSS and the index. So now I don't need to put a CSS style sheet inside of my background image. What we need to put is an image, right? So we could achieve that in two ways: by doing it locally, like save, we go back and we refresh. If we go back now, you can see that there's an image inside. This one of those images I used rather. So you could see that there's an image inside of our pre-footer. There's an image there. So that's one of the ways you could do it locally, which is the local way you could do it when using your local images, your local properties. So another way you could do it is still simple. What you need to do is go to your browser and search for whatsoever image you want. Why you do that? For example, if you go to Google and let's write images. So we click on any image. What you should do is right click and say open image in a new tab, right? So what you need to do is go to where the image, the new tab, copy this link in the URL, which have as the URL, and go back to your source code. Inside of that quote, you just replace it with the link and you save. So you save. We go back to our website. Now we refresh. You can see that we've imported that image inside of our website. So that's how you can import image from an external website inside of your website with the help of CSS. Right. So in my own case, so that's not all. Let's not stop there because this is also a CSS course. The next we also want to target is still the background, and in this case we should also target the background position. So which obviously means the position, how to position this image Now I want it to be positioned center, um, to center and the image. Not just that, I also want to do background repeat. It's another property for background. In this case, there are several types of background repeats value, such as no repeats and repeats, repeat X, etc. So today I want to use the background property of background repeat, and I want to use the value of no repeats. So I'll just hit enter in my own case because we can see it. And there's also another thing that I need to show you guys in the background section. All right, so we can also do the background size and pass it to be cover. So it's just going to size according to the given widget. Right, so before that, let's also let's see and refresh. All right, so you can see the way the image centered itself in our websites with the use of background positioning and background repeat. The way it is on when you go to the main image, you can see that no matter the size of the image, see how huge it is to the main image. But if you come to our websites, no matter the size of the image, it gives the same, it went relatively proportional to the same widgets and height of our contact form, which is beautiful, you know. But I don't want to use this. I already have mine. Oh, well, this one is looking really nice. Let's leave it. Okay. Or we could comment it out for now and keep this so we can see our other property because the color is different. All right. So now I can see this now. The next content info. Content button. What if I make this next one? Beautiful. So what I basically did is after passing it the widgets with the parents, I want each of the, I think this is a parent too as well, so we should target it from. Let me see. This is under. This will be. This is not part of the contact. Yeah, beautiful. So let's just quickly give this our form. Footer form. Footer. Last. Okay. We'll give it a list to. Let's do it. All right. Okay, so each of them now they are both taking 100%. All right. Let's continue. All right. So the next is obviously this contact dash item. Just this. Right. Inside of my contact dash item, the contact form is flex one. Then you should have a padding. But let's take out the flex one for now. Bring that back and focus on the syntax. Right. And you justify content to space with rather. Okay. Okay. First, what I will give you is a display of flex. And you can see, right now, I don't think it should be a display. Let's give it a block. And I give it a position of relative. Here it from the model. And let's see what's the really need. I think there are much here. Alright, so I give it to justify content. Space between spread, refresh. And still haven't taken place. Alright, so if we look at the original one, this one went all the way to the end. Alright, beautiful. So what's next? Next is the history element. And to start that, let's start with the font size. Let's give it 1.2 and I want to pass the font family to the area. We use area and space and then to markers and zero. Let's try this. I don't think I've ever used this font family before. Okay, but I've used sans serif and bandana. They worked well. So if you see this font family, what they're trying to, the reason why they have different fonts all together in one, it's simple. So they are letting the browser know this is the font family I want to use for my website. But in situation whereby some browser cannot read this font family, which is Segio UI, I want it to automatically replace it as Tohoma. If Tohoma is not found, I want it to read it as Geneva down to Vandana or lastly sans serif. So all of these fonts, they have similar look, but if we cannot achieve this goal, move down to the next. That's what the font family does. So it just specify, it does give if this is not this, please go to this. More or less like opportunity cost, 1 for 1. It's not opportunity cost. All right, let's move down to next. I think we should just save and see for now. Say hello. Okay, I think we are good to go, but let's increase the font size and as well change the color. use white, I suppose. Right, so let's go back to refresh. Can't find it now, but it's absolutely fine. Let's not add the color yet. Or let's change it to another color. Okay, let's go back to theirs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But there's one more thing we need to add inside of this item. I think we also need to work on the padding. Let's give it a padding of 0 from the top and left. And I think we need to also give 4 rem. So it's going to shrink. Alright, now we are achieving something. Alright, so you can see this is placed at the middle. But the 4 rem is a little bit big, so we should just give it 3 rem and see. Alright. Okay, this one is better. It's better. Say hello. Say hello. Almost the same size. Alright, so we are good to go with that. What's next? I think it's now time for us to, no, not yet time. Let's first of all style the p tag inside of it. Alright, so this, we style the history element, and it's time to style the class rather. Because I told you we should target them individually. It makes it easier for us. Makes it really easy for us. Individually. So you could manipulate any of the contents rather than grouping. You could group as well, but when grouping, don't group so many content, so many block elements at once. Learn to like target them individually, or else maybe you are already a master in CSS. Or if you are not yet a master in CSS, it's best you target them individually. So let's head down to the still on the history. So in this case, I want to give it a padding imagine left, rather between 10 pixels. Yes. Between inside. Targeting this, we target the history, every history inside of our contact, and there's only one history. So that means we should just basically include this white text. There's only one history, so there's no need. There is no need. Okay. Okay. Yeah, absolutely correct. What more do I want to do? I don't think I need that class. I don't think we need this class. There's no need for this class. Okay, but since we included it, let's use it. So that's using. Let's use it still. Alright. In this case, I will do history here. Alright, so I want to give the line heights rather to be not so much 0.5, and I want to give letter spacing to space properly 0.3, not too much, and white spacing to be no wrap. Right, so let's see and refresh. We go back. Why? Alright, it's beautiful. So you could see how it spaced itself properly, right? So now we can now target the P tag. So to do that, it's still based on the current. If you do this way, you are targeting every P tag inside of the element. So we'll automatically target these two P tag, and to target each of the P tag individually, we'll do it the same way by passing the class here. You see, as we target every H1, the H3 element, if there were two H3 elements, they will automatically take effect without adding this. They will take effect of this. So let's start the P tag, which is this. I'm trying to achieve this. Alright, so to do that, it's simple. First, to style them generally by passing them a font size. And let's give the font size to be small, let's say 14 pixel. And font family should be Montserrat. Montserrat, not actually Montserrat. Just broke a Montserrat, so I can remember anytime. But the name is Montserrat. So if that's not applicable, I want you to give me the next color, sans serif, so you can see the way we did it the same way. Alright, so I also want to add font weight for this because Montserrat has a low font weight. Let's go to the highest, 900. Alright, so we also pass the color of white, FFF, into 3 or into 6. Right, so what am I supposed to do next? Pay attention. Let's go refresh. It's going to disappear because it's still in there, but this has an anchor tag, so it's fine. Alright, let's take off this. Let's go with this. Take off unnecessary lines of code. Okay, so our next is to just do the same thing. Copy white and paste here. See, and I think it's now time for us to bring out our background image and replace this color to white. Okay, yeah, good. Let's go. See. Beautiful. All right, beautiful. So then we are left with this anchor tag in that section. All right. So let's just finish. Now we are left with this anchor tag. To do that is simple. Just copy all of this, paste it here, and add the anchor tag. Right. So, and what I'm going to do here is to change the text decoration to be none. And for this, I will also add text transform to be capitalized. I will do the same thing for the paragraph as well. So that's fine. Let's see. Alright, so let's change the color. I'm going to add color. We never give it a color. Okay, we could see that we didn't add the text transform to be capitalized here, and it took effect because it's still a paragraph. It didn't take effect when we added the color because of the anchor tag in it. So, once we click here now, it's going to email, right? So, for those new to CSS and HTML, this once you click here, it's going to take us to our mailbox because of this simple line of code called mail to, and you pass in your following value. So I did that in our HTML class. You could just go and search for link. In our last tutorial, we were trying to achieve this nice looking portfolio, right? So we were able to only achieve this, but we have not yet achieved this. And if this is looking different from the screen, it's totally fine. I just did a little bit of debugging. What debugging means is finding syntax error, just looking out for your mistake. Okay, so what I simply did was, first of all, I went back to the great grandparents, that is this pre-footer. So since we have passed it a margin of 100%, all we need to do is to give it a flex 1. So it's going to flex 100%. So whatever opportunity it has to flex to 100%, it will flex to 100%. So right now, we have not yet done this. That's why it's flexing the whole space. All right. So another thing I did was this iframe. You see here, I told you that you can style them with by changing the default widget and height, as well as using an inline styling like this. So you can as well style them from your style sheet, right? This style sheet is inside of our portfolio folder. I created another folder called CSS where I could save my style sheets. And for this extra, it's just my personal file. All right, we could just delete it and move to trash. Okay, you can see I just sent that to trash. Come back here, it's no longer there. We go back and refresh. Our website is still intact. All right, we go up again. Everything is still intact. We click, still intact, still intact, still intact. All right. So what we're trying to achieve is this. So we can quickly head down to our final part of this beautiful portfolio, which is the footer itself, right? Okay, to do that, it's simple. Well, it's only simple after debugging. All right. Like we always do, but first thing I need to work on this as well. I don't want to push to the extreme end. I want to also change the size. So I don't think this is necessary. I think I need to change this to 1.5 rem. And save. All right, so I think I should also see. Oops. If I change that, then this is not necessary. All right, now it's much more visible, but let's change it to something like 28 pixel. All right, this one is perfect. So what should be the next in line is, let's just head back. This is where we are, this place, and which is this place in our website. You can see ready to chat, ready, let's chat, ready, let's chat. Okay, so to do that is styling them one after another, which I friendly advise you to do all the time. It's a class selector, so it begins with a dot, and now you see as soon as we pass it this flex one, it's going to also take its own flex widget from the parents. That is 100% widget. I mean this, the great grandparent, which is this pre-footer, 100% widgets. That's what the flex would help you do. We don't have to start passing and another given widget. I also want to specify a particular widget, and in that case we should better use the max widgets. Right, so we refresh and we go back. You can see that the both of them now are taking up 100 as they ought to do. So let's just continue with no further ado. Set our position to be relative so we can play around with it easily, and let's give it a background. What I mean by playing around with it easily, if you set any position to relative, you can easily play around by pressing the left, top, right, and the rest. But notwithstanding, you can do that with regardless. So let's give it the background of transparent. This background we're shouting is just transparent. We want to make it to be. Let's give it the background of transparent. The next should be bottom, which is 50. Should give it 50 pixel rather. Okay, well, if you're not fast the way I am, it's totally fine. I have already solved this challenge before I come to teach you guys, so it's okay. Most especially this part, when I went to debug, I also solved the challenge to make it easier for me to, and as well finish this tutorial quickly, not to waste so much of the time. Okay, so you know the next is this. And all we want to do here is to change the font size, and we'll change it to 2.8 rem. All right, so the next is the form. All right, so alright guys, I will no longer be going back and front here. You already know what to do, so I could save so much time for us. There's still more things we need to achieve in this course, and I know you guys will be happy when I release my CSS animation class. It's really nice. I mean, you will gain a lot from there. We set this to be flex. Okay, and let's do this. It's not necessary if you don't understand. This is just for different browser purposes. So not all browsers accept every CSS selling property. So we just set this to be wrap, because this is a CSS selector, this is the property, and this is the value. Simple. Alright, so let's put this to be flex wrap, and same thing to be wrap, and we do the widget to be 100%. Yes. All right, so let's quickly go to the next one, which is .com dash code, and we set it to be relative, position to be relative. All right, let's give it widgets. Okay, that's all for the form role and form code, which is just this. Okay, so our next is this. Just take the and form inputs. Okay. Just pass it the widget of 49%. Let's give it a height. So what I'm trying to target now, we've targeted the H2 and now we are targeting the input, which is this, obviously, input. All right, so we gave it a widget of 49%. We want to give it a specific height of 60 pixel, and let's give it a padding of 0.375 rem. Yes, and then just give it a .75 rem. Okay, so the next we should give it is a font size, because it's going to take an input which is a text. So, or you choose a text or a number. You can call it a string or an integer. All right, so let's give that a font size of 1 rem. And we should also give it a font weight of 400. And we should also give it a line height. This time we'll give it 1.5. And we should also give this input a color. And in this case, I want to give it hex color 495057. Yes, that's the one I want to give, 495057. So for we to do that, what we should do is simple. 057. Just type in the number like that, or type in your hex, which is simple. So you could just type in the name. If you're using Virtual Studio Code, you could just select it like this. Okay. So let's set our background color to be white. And padding clip, background clip, sorry. Give it a padding box. Okay, so let's give it a border. So it will have its own, just this around it, but we want to specify ours to be 1 pixel solid. Let me give my own color. You could choose to give your own color. Okay, so our next should be the border radius. Let's give it a border radius of 0.25 rem. And a transition. Okay, while passing into transition, we also want to pass the border color to be 0.25, rather 15 seconds, and we'll give it the function which is in out, comma, then let's also pass it a box shadow. This may not work for all browsers, not even this. Okay, let's give it as well as in and out. And alright, so I think that's fine. Alright, the next is the text area. We are done with the inputs. Well, let's save and see what we've been doing so far. Refresh. See why it's coming straight to this place. Alright, so we are achieving something. So the next is the text area. So let's just copy this form row and we paste it. Yeah. Okay, so now we call the class. This is what we are calling. Now this is where we are. And I gave my, so I passed it a column. Column stand for column and rows. So column of 30, row of 10. It's not really necessary. So let's just give it a text area. And I think to be sure, we just copy directly from our HTML and we paste it here. Alright, so let's begin. Let's give the text area a specific widget. Let's give the width of 100%, and we should also give it a position of relative. Now I want to give it a top of 1.5 rem. The reason I did that is to demarcate it from this. I want to demarcate them. That's why I passed it. So if we save now and refresh, you can see it's demarcated. It's being demarcated from the rest. Alright, so we can also give it a justify. No, it's not necessary. Let's just give it a height of 15% this time. So it's going to be huge. So the next I should do, let's say first of all, and refresh. Okay, I think we are heading somewhere. But I don't like this blue outline. Okay, let's just finish. One more thing, let's start the button, which is this. Oops. This. Yeah, well, we can get ours. Alright, so to do that, you go to where you place your button, choose a selector. In this tutorial, we mostly use class selectors so that it can be easy for you to understand. I think we also use element because you can't do it without using an element. You can, but I mean, an element selector, something like button, body, H1, and the rest. So you might never just keep that. So you must use an element selector. This is what I'm talking about. So like an H3 is an element selector, and this is a class selector. So if we go down to the top, you can see that this is also an element selector. We can't do it without it actually. Alright. So let's continue further with no further ado. So for this button, what I'm going to do is simple, not much. I want mine to be different, so I'll give the height of 60 pixels first of all, and I want my widget to be 100%. Told you it's going to take up all the space like a button. And let's also pass it a color of white like this. Alright, so refresh. Beautiful, beautiful. And you can see, but we have not still achieved this. To remove this ugly looking blue that is indicating whenever we click, it's simple. It is called an outline. So go to your text area or your input. That's where you mostly find something like that. And set the outline property to be none. Or you could call it, I could say, pass in the property which is outline and give it a value of none. So you know that the value is none. The property is the outline. Alright, so we should also do the same thing in our inputs. So we go back now, fresh. If we hit, you can see that ugly looking stuff has disappeared. So let's also give this text area a value or a placeholder rather. So let's give it a placeholder of equals to message. Alright. Nice. So we didn't know that this is a message, or we could write it your message.